All right, guys, so we keep getting new polls on the Trump administration that are coming in, and one after the other, it gets worse and worse and worse for homie. So let me walk you through this. First quarter average job approval ratings of post-World War II elected presidents. So in other words, these are the polls for all the presidents in modern American history, right? So you have JFK was at 74%, Dwight Eisenhower at 71%, Jimmy Carter at 69%, Barack Obama at 63%, Ronald Reagan at 60%, George W. Bush at 58%, George H.W. Bush at 57%, Joe Biden at 56%, Bill Clinton at 55%. Donald Trump is the most unpopular president in modern American history for his first term. For both terms. 2017, he was at 41%. 2025, this time he's at 45%. So the most unpopular and the second most unpopular were Trump term 1 and Trump 2. I don't know what it was about this last election where at the beginning the Democrats just lost their minds and thought like, hey, we have to meet MAGA halfway. But it was a historically slim margin of victory, and that's not even including the votes that were thrown out, over 3.5 million, right? And everybody acted like this guy had a fucking mandate. He didn't have a fucking mandate. Bro, even in the peak of the honeymoon era, he was only like +4, +6 over water, whereas Biden at the same time, to put it in comparison, was +17. So everybody was acting like he was more popular than he was, and now it's becoming very apparent. He's not remotely fucking popular. He's historically unpopular for this time in his administration. All right, let me give you more. Ready for this? According to Gallup, a record high, 53% of Americans now say their financial situation is getting worse. That's the first time since 2001 that a majority has expressed financial pessimism. So this number's gone up. By the way, it's only going to go up more. And the reason I say that is we already know imports from China have plummeted 60%. You know what that means? All those cheap consumer goods that everybody in America relies on, they're either not going to be there, or if they are there, they're going to be way more expensive. And so that was the one thing holding this country together with duct tape and bubble gum, is the low cost of consumer goods. Yes, housing is super duper expensive. People can't afford it. Healthcare is super duper expensive. Education is super duper expensive. People can't afford that shit. There's been massive inflation in those areas. But at least you can get pretty cheap goods if you go to the Walmart. Well, now that's going away. So economic pessimism, it's only going to get worse. Economic pessimism is only going to skyrocket more and more and more. As prices go up, more people continue to get laid off. The market continues to plummet. Bro, this is, it's only been, a little over 100 days? A little over 100 days, and everybody's already like, holy shit, what have we done? All right, now let me give you more. I have here, latest, this was on MSNBC, the latest polls on the Trump administration. Here we go. Trump's job as president, 42% approve, 53% disapprove. 42% approve. He's 11 points underwater already. Trump's handling of the economy, 37% approve, 51% disapprove, way underwater, -14. Withholding funding from universities. Only 28% of Americans support that. And this is what Trump is all in on at the moment. Control national museums and theaters. Trump is doing this too, the Kennedy Center, among others. Only 14% support him doing that. Should Trump obey court orders? 83% say yes. Only 13% say no. That is a colossal gap. I'm actually surprised it's only 83. I would have expected 90 or something on that one. Trump's job as president, 44% approve, 51% disapprove. Again, -7 on this one. Trump's handling of the economy, 43% approve, 55% disapprove. -12 on that one. By the way, generally speaking, Republican presidents have a default view from the public of, oh, this is like a serious crotchety old man who's looking after business and looking after my money. And so Republicans usually live at least +5 when it comes to handling of the economy, even though that's totally unearned. It's basically a stereotype that's stuck in people's minds. Now he's underwater 12 points. This has never happened in my lifetime. The Republican president on the economy is this low. Trump's handling of tariffs, only 41% approve. Trump's handling of inflation and the cost of living, only 37% approve. These are catastrophic, bro. These are cataclysmic numbers. Likelihood of a recession. More people say there will be a recession than there won't. So 45 to 37 on that. Blame Trump if we have a recession. 52% say I will blame him a lot or a bit. 32% only a little or none at all. Again, another job approval one. These are all different pollsters, by the way. I know it's kind of hard to see because the writing is small. But the approve is 42. The disapprove is 53. That is minus 11. Look, that says it all. I think the most important of these numbers is this one. Record high 53% of Americans now say their financial situation is getting worse. The first time since 2001. So in other words, this has now eclipsed what this number was even during the Great Recession. The Great Recession. Look, Trump is a master at bending the political reality to his will. He is a prolific liar. He is a prolific postmodernist. He is a prolific bullshit artist and con man who can make people believe the opposite of what they're seeing. But having said that, it is a truism that the reality always catches up. And there's only so much spin you could do in a scenario where inflation skyrockets and massive numbers of people are being laid off and manufacturing is not coming back. There's only so much you can do. And we're about to test the limits of his ability to bullshit. He's already slipping, dog. And also, scandal after scandal, week after week, the media will hammer home on like Kilmar Abrego Garcia for a week and his numbers will drop 2 or 3 points. Then they'll hammer away on something else, drop 2 or 3 points. They did it on Signalgate, drop 2 or 3 points. And eventually, I keep making this prediction, eventually we are going to see the Trump floor, right? It's going to be anywhere from 26% to 33%. That will stick with him no matter what. But that is not a lot of people. I shouldn't say that. It's not a lot as a percentage. It's not a lot relative to the size of the country and the number of people in the country. Very few people can manage to get 26 to 33% of the population to support them no matter fucking what. He can, but he's going to bottom out at some point with this trajectory. And honestly, it's looking like sooner rather than later. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.